The question is that clause 24 stand part of the bill. Lord Moylan.
My Lords, I have expressed at second reading very serious concerns about part of clause 24, and in moving the clause do not stand part of the bill, my approach has been not to rewrite what the government has proposed in the bill, but therefore to provide them with an alternative policy, but to ask them very seriously to consider and to explain their current policy as it stands in the bill. And to that extent, this is, like my previous clause, not a stand part, probing amendments. But I think on this particular issue, it's very clear that I think we're likely to come back on report with specific amendments that change the text of the bill, unless we hear something that explains it more satisfactorily than we have so far. My understanding is that Clause 24 inserts into the Transport Act 2000 a new obligation on the holders of PSV operators' licences in relation to training. And I have no objection to that, to the idea that there should be an obligation to train staff. I have no objection to that at all. And I have no objection to Clause 25, which has a similar sort of effect, but relates to training about disability. All of that is to the good. My specific concern is with subsection 2 of what would be new Clause 144F in the Transport Act 2000, where the training requirement that is under consideration here is specified as the person has completed training, the aim of which is to assist the person to identify, respond appropriately to, and where possible prevent criminal offences that would cause a victim or potential victim of the offence to fear for their personal safety, which is, after all, a large number of criminal offences, and antisocial behaviour within the meaning given by the Antisocial Behaviour Act 2003. So the person to whom this is directed can only be the driver of the bus, because buses run with one person operating them almost exclusively in this country. So the driver of the bus is expected to be trained, and the public is to be encouraged to think that the driver of the bus is going to be trained to a point where they can identify, respond appropriately to, and where possible prevent criminal offences and antisocial behaviour. Now, this places potentially a burden on bus drivers that is wholly inappropriate, given their role, given their salary, and given the fact that they're almost certainly going to be on their own on that bus when something happens. Many of the incidents one can easily envisage that would be encompassed by this training would be incidents that, as I said at second reading, the Metropolitan Police or another police force would respond to with 1, 2, or 3 uniformed officers. And yet the implication is that a bus driver on their own is going to be able to identify, respond appropriately to, and where possible prevent criminal offences and antisocial behaviour. I do not think that the government, and the noble Lord the Minister well understands the bus operations, it goes without saying, more than perhaps any other minister who might come here would understand. But he cannot seriously mean what this says on the face of the bill. Now, it is possible that what the minister might say is that, oh no, you must misunderstand. When we say training and identify, this is all really just so that they know how to report it to the appropriate people, that they have radios and they can communicate to higher operator and they communicate to the police and things like that. That is the appropriate response we'd be talking about here. But that isn't what the words say. The words actually say, where possible, prevent. And that goes a great deal beyond simply telling a bus driver to operate responsibly and to take note of what's going on. So I really think I am utterly baffled by what the government is considering here, and in practice how it would work and how these words are appropriate in this bill. Something, I agree, should be and could be included about training drivers so that they can identify and respond to and take account of this sort of behaviour, which is sadly all too common on buses nowadays. But the words as they stand simply put bus drivers in a completely impossible position. And I think, apart from anything else, would of course make recruitment very, very difficult indeed.